Here's the intro. Hold on. We can do this. I've done this before. Jesus Christ, you wouldn't think so. There we go. All right, I got it.
Thanks for tuning into the Carrie Hunter podcast. Here's your host, Bryce and Kevin.
Welcome back to the Carrie Handle podcast. I hit my mark that time, and I'm so fucking happy, and nobody is helping me with my concentration. You guys suck. Welcome back. With me, as always, is Kevin and a
Hi,
guest.
I'm Kevin,
I'm gonna
and I'm
talk to
here.
Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
What guest do we have?
He's
I already
this
fucked up
guy.
the intro.
He's pretty cool. He's
Yeah,
done some cool stuff.
I think he's lucky. No,
He
that's
might be
not that.
lucky.
Maybe.
He might.
I don't
He
know.
might be a gunner too. I don't know.
We have Chris Baker from Lucky Gunner. Oh my goodness! Welcome on the show.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show and making time. We're really excited to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so for the 5 people that don't know who you are, would you mind giving us a quick or giving us an intro, like who you are, where you're with, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I am Chris Baker. I work for Lucky Gunner. We're an ammo retailer on the internets, and I basically handle their online media presence, essentially the video and some of the other kind of social media stuff, but mostly video, and that has taken the form of YouTube primarily. So you might know me as a YouTuber, but technically I am the digital content manager for Lucky Gunner.
Ooh, I'm stealing that title. I like that.
Ooh, that's fancy.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not very often used, but I think that's what it technically says on my.
I like it.
I don't know. It's written down somewhere.
On your name tag, like
You
read
got
the
it.
I don't
fine
have a
print.
name tag. I was gonna say my nameplate of my office, but I don't have that.
Nice. So did you start with media in terms of video, or did you start writing, or what was your foray into, well, I mean, specifically Lucky Gunner, I guess, and then we can kind of go from there. But
Yeah, it's kind of a weird journey, which I guess is the case for anyone who's fallen into this line of work, because
Yep.
no one wanted to be what I am when they grow up, because the job didn't exist when I was a kid. So I did study media production in college.
Oh, wow.
I started out
Okay.
as an art
Interesting.
major, and I was going to be a graphic designer, and it very quickly killed my desire to do any kind of art.
No.
So I was pretty into art when I started college, and then kind of took a 20-year break from it after college. But after I abandoned that track, I was like, I got to graduate with something. This media production thing looks pretty easy, and I had a friend who was doing it, and he wasn't the brightest guy, and I'm like, well, if he can do it, I'm sure I can do it.
Wow.
Love that.
And so that was how I got into media, and it was a weird program. It was set up to be like, we'll teach you how to do TV news production, but everyone knew that was a dying industry already, and it was going to be controlled by a single robot within a couple of years, and
Yeah.
and it is.
If
Yep.
it isn't, yeah.
And
Yep,
so the
fair.
professors were like, we'll teach you how to make short films, and they kind of tried to make it so half the degree was like obsolete newscasting equipment, and half of it was like some people trying to teach me how to make films who barely knew what they were doing. But hey, I learned how to do video, I learned how to edit and shoot and all that, and never intended to use it again, but here we are.
Nice.
I worked for a while doing some different things in the nonprofit sector, and then I quit my job without really any plan for what I was going to do next. I'd picked up some freelance writing stuff, and that led to introduction to Lucky Gunner, and they wanted me to do some product videos, which turned into a long-term contract position with them. And I was making basically like, here's 9mm American Eagle 115 grain FMJ. And then the next video was like, here's American Eagle 124 grain FMJ.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so, and then this was back when Google would reward your site just for having video content on it. And so they're like, just make as many of these as possible.
And so
And
this
so,
predates YouTube then. This is
Wow.
Yeah, I mean
Lucky Gunner
YouTube was around,
Lounge?
but it's before Lucky Gunner
Right,
YouTube
I mean, I'm
existed,
sorry,
and
I meant
before Lounge existed.
right.
They were
Okay.
just like, just make a bunch of content. And so I did that for a while, and they were like, why don't you work for us full time? And right when I did, they had done some A/B testing, and they're like, actually, Google doesn't care as much about this, and it looks like it doesn't
Bait and
impact
switch.
people's buying decision at all. So maybe don't do those anymore. But the Obama had started talking about like gun ban stuff, and so there was
Mhm.
this massive sales spike,
Right.
and so nobody
Yeah.
needed marketing at our company at the time. And they're like, "Oh, you
Oh,
figure out
jeez.
Don't
something
need
while
help.
we figure out how to buy more ammo because we're not having a problem with selling it. We just can't find any."
Right. Right.
So I
Yes.
was kind of left to my own devices, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm starting a blog," and they're
Well,
like,
Nice.
so
"Great, do it."
and that's really what it was. It was just
And that's kind of how
something
it
for you
happened.
to
Yeah.
do?
More or less. I mean, it was a natural transition from kind of we're just putting content for the sake of content to like, "Hey, let's put some content that actually means something that will connect with people and like make us a part of the community, so to speak." And
I
this was right at
yeah,
that, like I
okay.
was right in the meat of the bell curve of interest in my training journey. So I'm like, okay, if you guys will pay for me to do training,
Okay.
I can basically leverage that into content. And so I was taking stuff that I learned from training, stuff that I was experimenting with some hardware, and then
Uh,
early on we decided to tackle the ballistic gel test. That was a
Mm,
huge thing,
yeah.
kind of got us on the map early on. So that's been about 10 years ago we did that now.
wow.
Wow, okay, so I think I had talked to you maybe off air, but or obviously off air. The for
Yeah.
people that don't know, this is this is the second attempt. We had some technical difficulties, and Chris has been nothing but patient and
I'm
awesome. I
sorry.
didn't say anything. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Well,
I was gonna imply it was me, but yes, it was Kevin. Tell on yourself.
no,
Good job.
my
Uh,
mic broke and I fixed it.
so my first exposure was actually your 60-minute or 60, geez, your 60
60-minute?
second, I believe your 60-second gun reviews when you were talking about the different EDCs, and
Yeah.
then your argument for the M&P compact, which I thought was
Mm.
super compelling. And now for our younger, yes, that hurts me, but our younger viewers may not know the M&P didn't always have a Glock 19 sized
Yeah.
gun. I don't know why. They just
Yeah. The
they
compact was more of a subcompact.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it was also Glock 19 size by also not being Glock 9. It was a very odd
It was somewhere between a
size.
26 and a 19.
Right.
Wow. That's
And
interesting.
I remember at the time the biggest this is just a side tangent, but I always thought it was a really interesting idea to have it the size that it was because everybody was based and I mean, you almost do that now, lesser to a degree, but is it Glock 17 size, 19 size, or 26 size? When I was
Right.
growing up, that's how you
Those are
sized
the three
guns.
sizes. Yep.
Yeah. And then if you were a competition shooter, because we shot iron sights, because they red dots weren't a thing like they are now. I mean, obviously hardball shooters and like competition and open guys had those, but not pistol mounted optics like we have now. But oh, I've lost my fucking tangent now.
Oh, then there it goes.
But either way, it was a very odd size to have, and I remembered it was very compelling because it was remarkably concealable, but just too small for me to get my pinky on, which is very irritating.
Yeah,
Until I
it's one of
realized,
those where if you have to have the extended
yeah,
magazine to get it on
but
there. They actually they brought it back. It looks like I was just checking because I thought I'd seen it. They
but it,
brought back that size, but they're now calling it the M&P 2.0 subcompact.
Oh,
oh,
And
so
that's
they're
the same
just
size as the
okay.
original M&P compact. Because
That's
the
that's
current
interesting.
interesting.
compact is more Glock 19 size.
So, as a
Yeah.
fun aside, I remember when James Yeager was releasing his videos about the M&Ps, and he was like, "I got the compact, but it's the same exact size. It's 15 rounds." And in the video, like, there's an addendum to the video. He was like, "Oh, I bought a Colorado compliant M&P," and he was like, "It's still the same size."
Ah,
R.I.P. But
jeez.
I just thought
That's
that was
funny.
kind of funny. But in terms of the concealment the concealment market has drastically changed. I
But
mean,
yeah,
from where we were 10 years ago to now. I mean, we're running around with laser red dot sights on our guns. I mean, we got
Yep.
true micro subcompacts when effectively the size of a shield when everybody was excited about those, which is kind of interesting. But if you were to do a 60-second gun video today, obviously I'm giving you literally no prep here, but like just off the cuff, what would you think you would include into that just as a popular series
Yeah.
of guns? Because
I mean, so the 60-second gun review thing was kind of my response to the tabletop review thing. Remember that was like a big thing on
yeah.
YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I'm a
put
nothing
the gun
fancy
in front
kid.
of you and just talk. And yeah, nothing
Yeah.
fancy was kind of the notorious one, but there were a lot of them like that.
Yep.
And so I was like, you know what? We don't have to do this. I can say everything I need to say in 60 seconds. And it was sort of like a gimmick, and it didn't last very long. I only did a few like that because even then YouTube was not the algorithm was not very kind to videos of that length.
Yeah.
And also at that time I was doing I had this combo sort of strategy where I would write a blog post and then make a video as kind of an extra, like an add-on.
Yeah.
And so the video was more like just kind of icing on the cake. And the
Right.
hope was that oh, you're watching the 60-second video. We'll go to the blog and read the whole thing. But no one does that anymore.
Which
but
read
that
it
was
reads
the
for
original
it.
idea. But I was tackling the shield style, the single stack 9mm, which were in full swing at that time. And so that was where that video came from. There you go. Nice. So if I did it now, it would probably be the P365, the micro compact category. And that's where all the attention is right now in the concealed carry market. Even though I think people are getting a little fatigued on it.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of fatigue
they're
going around.
probably the top sellers if I had to guess.
Well, so I for the viewers, you can't see this, but I showed Chris a PPS M2. I actually got this because of his compelling argument against the Glock 43 with this. However,
what? I almost bought another one the other day. I was kind of missing mine.
The Holosun one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might just do it. I'm gonna see if Walther will just send me the slide because I'm lazy and I don't want another one.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it's a
interesting.
great gun. I don't really care that much about capacity, and as far as shootability, it's probably I still think it's the most shootable of that class of gun.
Absolutely. I mean, I've shot Glock. I've shot the back-to-back series because everybody in class is like, oh, well, I've got a shield or I've got a Glock 43 or whatever, and it's like, well, I have this thing, and they're like, it's so big, and I'm like, I can shoot it longer than you can shoot yours.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, sir, you undersold the fucking stapler trigger on this thing. Oh my God, is it terrible?
Yeah, that's one of those things where every one is different. Like the one I had was really not that bad. It had more of a rolling break that is a little more DA-like, which is what I prefer on striker gun if I have to have it. Just like Glock triggers, they can range anywhere from 5 to 9 pounds right out of the box, depending on where you get it. And I don't know what factors affect it or why there's so much variability, but it's definitely a thing.
I know there was a
I didn't know that.
recently, maybe not very popular shooter anymore, but he would buy boxes of the connectors and the different parts inside and mix and match, which I haven't bought boxes of them, but I've definitely bought 10 at a time and just figured out which ones work. And then I just figured out Apex exists. So that's easy.
Yeah.
But I can confidently tell you, I made the journey, or I'm currently making the journey away from semi-automatics just because of I know Kevin and I recently just did a video about the FPC 22 and our first real exposure with that rifle. And I'm going somewhere, I promise. But 22s and revolvers and things that I wouldn't necessarily take seriously previously were, I feel like
respect.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't consume as much firearms content as I used to, so I'm not as influenced necessarily by what is currently being discussed because I don't have a lot of time. So I'm a dad. I tried my fucking level best to balance a bunch of shit, but YouTube is on the low end of that. So what that turns into is I get exposure from online, from Instagram, just people that I talk to directly or people that come on the show. And what that has done is it's made me realize I don't care about a very sexy, fucking crazy looking assault rifle that is being pushed by whatever XYZ company. Because at the end of the day, it probably does a bunch of things similarly to what I have, because most of them are ARs. I mean, realistically, it's just another AR or another variant of that. It's
Lipstick on
exciting.
a pig, really.
Yeah. So, but in my mind, something that has become, and Kevin and I discussed this, a lot more compelling is revolvers and 22 caliber anything, really. I mean, it's the ammunition availability, the flexibility in terms of the same gun being able to shoot however many different kinds of ammo. And I know you have a definite bias towards 22 rifles, but can you walk us maybe a little bit through, just elevator pitch so you don't have to redo your whole fucking video, but like your CZ22 backyard rifle concept?
Um, yeah, and I totally, to go back to what you're saying about not consuming as much firearms content and that kind of influencing how you look at the hobby. I totally resonate with that, and I spend a lot of time making content and not so much time consuming it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like a hipster or something when I say like I don't really watch YouTube,
God, I
even though
say
I
that all
want
the
it.
time.
Like I don't. Right?
He
It's just
literally does say
I
that all
don't
the
have
time.
time for it.
No.
And it's there are a couple of I love Ian McCollum and Forgotten Weapons. I'll watch his stuff when he talks about something that interests me.
I love his
I'll turn on his
Q&As.
video.
It's a
Yeah.
catch-all.
Yeah, he's great, and I
Yeah.
definitely envy his ability to just turn on the camera and start talking.
Yeah.
Which I think comes from just the very deep well of knowledge that he's drawing from.
Yes.
Whereas I have to like painstakingly research every video
Yeah.
and make sure I
Mm.
got all my
Yep.
my I's dotted and T's crossed, and I'm like, somebody's gonna call me out on this if I don't say
Oh
the
my
right
God,
thing.
yeah.
So
God,
it's
yeah.
very carefully crafted what I say, and I feel like Ian just has it ready to go because he's just
Mhm. It's
he
on
just
tap.
eats and breathes this stuff. So I'm totally envious of that. But besides his stuff, honestly, there's not that many other YouTubers I watch regularly. It's not to say there aren't any good ones. I just
Mhm.
it's not the ocean I'm swimming in right now. And so it does affect how you look at things. It tends to be more like who are the people in my immediate circle and what are they interested in? What a lot of days, I've been doing this for a dozen years now. Sometimes it's like, well, what actually gets me excited about this today?
Mhm.
What makes me want to what makes me feel like the hobby is new again?
I like that. That's a good way of
And
putting that.
Yeah.
for me, it's always like, man, there's always a new aspect of wheel guns that I haven't really
Yeah.
plugged into with like big bore revolvers. I mean, I've just barely scratched the surface of that world. Like I could
Yeah.
probably dive in and get really into that for a while. Maybe not so much because it inevitably goes to like hunting of some kind, which I don't really do much of, but
Right.
still, there's a lot of aspects of that I find interesting just because there's a lot of history there. And I love history, and it revolvers are very tied to American history, law enforcement
Yeah.
history, because we had because wheel guns were the handgun in the United
Mhm.
States for so long.
Yeah.
That really fascinates me. I mean, if you look at Europe, they're like, well, we have semi-autos. What do we need revolvers for?
Right.
They kind of abandon it at the turn of the century, and
Right. And they
I
just
can't blame them for it. I've kind of wondered why we stuck with revolvers for so long, honestly. But
Yeah.
uh, it's it's a fascinating history, and there's a lot of I don't want to say nostalgia because by the time I was growing up, the semi-auto transition was in full swing. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of uh, American story tied to revolvers.
Well, even in the
So
manufacturers.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Dan Weston,
yeah.
absolutely.
Smith& Wesson,
Sam
Colt, the
Colt
Yep.
and all that. Yeah,
stories.
Yeah, they've been
there's
around for
Well, even
ever.
the drama there. I mean, the drama between the different sects or the different guys. I mean, I play with a bunch of them all day. By the way, Dan Wessons are a little disappointing. Just if any, like I have played with a bunch in the last just week, and I've never played with one until literally a week ago, and they have been they feel like toys. I'm very disappointed, but they're very
Really?
pretty.
I
Yeah,
had
I was
one for
didn't like it.
of what is it, the main one, the 15, the Model 15.
I don't know the numbers, or I don't know the
It's
models
like the
very well.
357,
Okay,
but I only had the one barrel for it. I love the interchangeable barrel idea.
I love that. Yeah, that's super cool.
I think I messed with the action on that one so much to try and get it to feel like a Smith and Wesson, and I just couldn't quite get it there.
So the biggest problem for me is completely subjective. The hammer reminds me of every BB gun and airsoft revolver I've ever had because the way they have to shape it, they shape it so that just like a transfer bar on a revolver, there's a cutout so that it won't hit the knocker and just release all the gas. So it not only feels like an airsoft gun, it looks like one.
Right.
And then
Right.
playing with
And
one,
that goes to the whole issue of aesthetics. Like it's
yeah.
And that's another thing I like about revolvers. So something about like, and I wonder how many. I don't think this is a universal thing because if it was, more people would like revolvers. But like, part of the reason I like guns as a hobby is the aesthetic part of it, and not just the look of it, but like just the feel of them, the sound they make. I think I mentioned the other day, like I would own an M1 Garand even if it didn't fire anything, just because I like to work the action. I like to mess with the end blocks. Like it's just half the fun of it is just manipulating it.
That's
And
why we all need PR 5.7s just for stripper clips and 5.7 dummy ammo
Fidget toys
all day long.
There you go. Yeah. Because there's something about just the very tactile nature of certain guns, and I feel like revolvers fit that. But single actions do the same thing, and they've just never done anything for me for whatever reason. They're like the perfect fidget spinner, but I've never really gotten into them.
I have a single action only 22, and it's cool, and I like watching it when I watch like Marty Robbins or like John Wayne or any of the fun cowboy movies. But my favorite gun, maybe not my favorite gun, but one of my favorite guns is a 625. I have mixed emotions about the gun that my viewers can't currently see right now, but if they go into my Instagram, they can. Oh, that's right. I plugged myself like a cool guy. So really quickly, 625s are really interesting just for people that don't know. Do they currently make 620? That's not a production item, right?
I think they recently stopped. I want to say in the past 5 years.
Yeah. So the one that you would see on my Instagram is a 625 JM. So it is probably my favorite gun. It is ungodly terrible to shoot. It has the JM custom, or it has the JM rainbow. I don't know why I'm showing the fucking camera, but
I like
the red, white, and blue.
Show it some more.
Okay. The red, white, and blue grips, which is super
cool. Did it come
cool.
with the bobbed hammer, or did you do that?
I did that because I have the tisms.
Yeah.
And I refuse to carry a gun with a spur.
I told him I know why he did it functionally, but aesthetically, I kind of don't like it.
Also, that
do
is
that
about
again.
My
That noise.
Yeah,
that sounds really good over the mic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that is my favorite thing. The cylinder, the counterclockwise cylinder advance on the Smith & Wessons is perfect for if you want to, like defeat the trigger just a little, or just the hammer or the cylinder stop. It's just peak.
Nice.
Downside.
All right, let's not.
Downside with the double action only, even though it still technically has the Uzi, what's it? Downside is that you can't thumb it, so you have to depress it with your trigger finger.
Oh, that's
a little sketchy.
Safe.
A little sketchy.
That's
it is,
safe.
but I keep fidget shit around so I can play with it.
I did try that gun when I was there.
It's stiff.
It's turned me on to revolvers. I think I want a revolver now.
These are.
You should want a revolver.
I carry this in a JM Custom Kydex, and he would not sell. Tony would not make me one with a red dot cut. He was like, "I will not," because I tried to get it made for the Enigma, and he was like, "No, I'm not doing it."
That's funny. I have an L frame holster from him that has a red dot cut. and it's weird. It's it looks
how
almost
deep
like a
does that
minimal.
carry?
I'll have to find a picture of it, but it's odd. I think he made it because John Johnston begged him to, and uh John had him make the holster, but he was using it for a gun I was loaning him, so I ended up with the holster. But
Really
That's
quickly,
cool.
I think
just
it was
as a
a
really
one-off thing.
So just as a really quick aside, really exciting for people that don't know, but John actually just posted that he's got a class plan for next year. So if it
Nice.
isn't already filled up, definitely sign up for that because that dude is really cool.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
very,
That's a good
very
class.
awesome. I actually started following him from his FNS 9L reviews, like his like pistol forum style reviews.
Wow, that goes
Yeah.
way back.
Oh yeah.
So-
So yeah, and then when he was playing with that Salient 226. So
Oh gosh,
yeah.
I don't even think I know about that one.
But yeah,
What
yeah.
what
And
revolver
in his
should I
Knights
get?
Armament and LWRC tests were pretty cool too. So
What revolver should man, how long do we have?
I can however long you want.
If you want a revolver just to have a revolver and to shoot, I would say get a GP 100 and drop in a reduced power hammer spring.
Okay.
I think
Now
that's your best
that is
bet.
an interesting suggestion.
I am more of a Smith and Wesson guy, but on their quality control right now is just so spotty that I can't recommend it without reservation.
I got 600 rounds into like 6 years ago, but 600 rounds into a J frame, and the hammer post snapped on the 442.
Oof.
Yeah, 600 rounds. So that sucked.
That does suck because usually if you make it that far, you're in the clear.
Yeah, I was basically just trying my best to make it through a case of really crappy ammo, and I don't remember what it
You-
was, but I was
You
just
have
like
a habit of
dumping it.
doing that. You have a
I know.
habit of using terrible ammo.
I know. I'm like, I'm gonna buy this cheap, and then I have it, and I'm like, oh, that's why it's cheap.
Jeez.
Now, I'm
You
not
know-
letting Ruger off the hook, but they've had their own share of issues also. But it seems that on average, theirs are a little less likely to have issues. And the GP 100 is a solid gun. It's just so shootable. It's the weight of it just makes it really soft shooting, and it's got adjustable sights. It's you can get a 6 or a 7 shot. Your choice of barrel length. I'm partial to 3-inch, but the 4 inches are more
Okay.
common. The match champion variant is not bad, except that it has the giant match champion written on the side of the barrel, which I've always hated.
I was gonna say
what-
the lightning cuts in it too, right?
Yeah, it's got those.
I want people to know I'm a match champion.
I don't understand why they lightened the barrel, but they have a full on. Like, what was the point of that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, lighten it, but make it heavy.
It's
Okay.
it's just to make it different, you know. Got to set
So
it apart from make you feel like you're getting something for paying the extra.
So I had an interesting thought. I mean, I think you may have mentioned 30 Super Carry, but I know Ian. We talked about
the
Ian
caliber
already.
that refuses to die.
Well, I like 30. I think 30 Super Carry is very compelling.
You like it now?
I'm on air saying I liked it. Not even just today. I think it's compelling. It's a small. It is a physically smaller cartridge.
You're on air saying it's the caliber that refuses to die.
Yeah, but that's because I think there's a bunch of really interested nerds that are like, hey, we could stuff a lot of bullets in here. That's kind of fun.
Just keeping it alive.
But okay,
I'll be honest. I bought or ordered from our website 300 rounds of Super Carry when it first came out.
Lightning fast shipping too, right?
Just to try out with lightning fast shipping.
Wow.
That have sat in my garage since then.
No.
And we have someone in our company bought a shield, I think. What was it? The shield and the shield, or no? They bought a
the Shield Plus or something.
No, the other one, the Easy whatever.
Oh, I didn't even know they had an Easy.
The Easy 380, whatever the 30 Super Carry version of that is.
Yeah.
They bought one of those, which I thought was an odd choice. Anyway, I've not gotten around to shooting it yet, and by the time I realized it had been a while, like no one cared anymore. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing content on this.
Right.
Oh no.
So it's just sat around.
So Ian basically, I marathon sometimes, like Q&As or something, because I listen to them on like 2x speed because people talk really fucking slow. So I got to get them going. So the videos are only like 30 minutes long.
I'm told that people can't listen to my stuff at 2x. If they normally listen to
no,
other stuff at
you
2x,
can-
I talk
you
too
cannot.
fast.
No, and that's why I can watch you and a couple other people because you're so efficient at delivering information. There's no there's no
Wow.
there's no nonsense where you're like
Wait,
rattling around the
You
point.
don't like rattling and rambling and slow
My God.
speaking?
When people talk like this, it makes me feel like my brain is atrophying and I'm dying. I can't do it.
You sometimes look like it too.
I feel for him. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to not do that. That's why I put out a quarter as much content as anybody else because I'm sitting there trying to plan the words in advance so I don't and go off on
we appreciate it.
The one
you
thing
asked me about 22s and we still haven't gotten anywhere close to that. This is why I script my stuff in advance.
Holy shit, I forgot about that.
I have a great segue into 22s.
But yeah, see, you killed Kevin's segue.
Well, no. Here's
rude.
here's my segue. So Bryce was talking about how he loves to use old crusty ammo. Why don't we ask Bryce what happened to his first MP522? Why don't we ask him? Bryce, what happened to your first MP522 you bought for your wife?
My wife she's very reserved when it comes to things that she's interested in. She's likes exactly what she likes. She's very strict. Also, thank you, Hannah, for orchestrating this episode. Obviously,
yes, thank you, Hannah.
Love you very much.
Thank you, Hannah.
So we, I had shown her the MP5 after HK or Umarex dropped the HK MP5, and then they picked up production. Whatever fucking headache they have going on there. I bought her the newer one that is a Cerakoted FDE, the SD version.
He came up to me to pick it up from my local
Yeah, I had
shop.
surprised her. I went to a
hold on.
different city.
I'm out of the loop on this. So Umarex was making it, and now they're not. And who's making it? That HK making it in house.
Supposedly, HK is making it in house. So much so that you have to, depending on the serial range, you have to send it to them or Umarex, and HK will not send you parts. Obviously.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great time. This will become pertinent very soon.
That was foreshadowing right there.
So I like nerdy things, and I know that I like a certain setup from the CAG used SDs for a while, but they would barrel clamp like quad rails on the end of these things to put lights on them. And so I tried my very best. I got clamps. I got an airsoft CAC quad rail because those things are fucking money now. And I had it all set up really pretty. It was cool. It had a fake SIG comp thing on it. Looked pretty compelling. Her grandfather was like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of all this 22 ammo. Do you want it?" Yes, I want it.
Right. Who doesn't want free ammo?
So, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure some of that ammo is as old as he is. And there's a lovely feature on the 22 Umarex and HK where the barrel is not the barrel. It's like an airsoft gun where it has a liner. It has a threaded aluminum liner on the inside. That liner is not super friendly to much of anything because I'm fairly certain I didn't have a squib, but when I tried to disassemble my wife's rifle after spending a lot of time shooting very responsibly into a berm, the barrel was seized on the inside. So about a month and a half of me trying to get this thing apart, finally get it home and figure out how to get the thing apart because I'm not thinking what the problem is until I take it out and there's a nice little bulb like like if you're making a balloon animal. So I had a squib, 100% had a squib, and something came around behind and popped it out. So I killed my wife's rifle. And I still haven't fixed it. Although HK Parts does have an aftermarket barrel, so I can do those. I say all that to say that I had a very serious use for this 22, and I still haven't fixed my wife's rifle. However,
Has
I did
she
buy
ever
her a new
shot
one
it?
once.
We actually,
Did you buy her a new MP5 or something else?
No, I built her. I built her something, and then I bought her something else.
What's even worse is he really didn't want to shoot it when he was there.
Nope.
I'm
No,
like,
I did
dude,
not.
we have to test it. We have to test this thing. We have to test it. Finally, we take it to the range. He's like, fine, I'll do like 5 shots. We take it to the range, just mag dump like 3 mags through it. He's like,
Yeah.
cool. He's like, yep. Yeah, this is cool. I'm like, yeah, it is. And then he proceeds to blow it up.
With 70-year-old 22.
Yeah, 70-year-old nasty,
For the
grimy
record,
22.
if it had a real barrel, wouldn't be a problem.
Oh yeah, hear that?
If you had just
that,
shot it through a
Rex?
10-22 like a normal person, it
Oh
would have
my
either
No, that's
survived or
I
a
have
Ruger would have fixed
never-
it for you.
I have never
Impossible.
owned a 1022.
Impossible. I never.
Never.
Wait, that's not true. I have owned one. Local police department took it away. My dad refused to pay $50 to get it back.
That's crazy.
So I never got to shoot it.
Just on principle.
I wanted the takedown charger.
Sure.
That's
we'll
what I
call it on
wanted.
principle.
But like they went extinct during COVID, and then I just haven't tried to buy one since.
Yeah, the takedown charger is pretty cool, especially if you put a brace on it or something.
Well, and that's okay. So we're
Let's
now
move
in
into
22s.
Yeah, it's in the serious use
So-
case.
There is there's a video about your 22 backyard rifles. We've discussed practical rifles. Kevin and I have discussed what it looks like for a civilian to have a thing that makes most sense to us and not necessarily a soldier. You have a very good series about set of videos to a brace of videos. I don't know, a couple videos about your backyard 22 and what that looks like for you. And we've just now really started to get into the world of serious 22s because I think a lot of people just don't take them. I mean, you've said this, but
They don't.
people just don't take them seriously.
Yeah.
And
They treat them like an upgraded airsoft or an upgraded BB gun.
that's exactly right. And I mean, hell, there are 22 caliber BB guns.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is it wasn't always like that. Like, people used to take 22s very seriously. They were used for serious things. They were used to put food on the table.
Mhm.
They were even used for defense in a lot of ways. There's who is it? A famous quote from somebody. Is it Hemingway? Some famous author from back in the days when you could be a famous author and a gun guy.
Right.
Says something about like, put me in a ring against the biggest, meanest heavyweight in the world, and put a Colt Woodsman in my hand, and I'll have 10 shots at him before he can get off his stool. And he was basically talking about, firearms as the great equalizer, essentially the same stuff that people talk about Sam Colt making men equal and all that sort of thing. 22s were taken seriously. There were defensive pistols in 22s. They people knew they were quote unquote underpowered. Like, that wasn't news to them. They may not have had ballistic gel, but they knew that, like, if you shoot a guy with a 22, he's not as likely to crumple into a heap as if you shoot him with a big bore or something or other.
Right.
But it's still, a good way to get somebody to leave you alone. Or the phrase I like is cause an immediate change in behavior.
I like that.
Yeah, that's perfect. I like that.
And so they were used for defense. They were used for food. They were used for competition. They were used for introducing people to guns. They were used for kids who wanted to shoot, for the gun you get your wife or leave with your wife when you're going to go out of town, that kind of thing. Somewhere along the way, we got obsessed with following whatever law enforcement's doing. And I don't know when that, I mean, it's always been a part of civilian gun culture, but it's become a huge thing where, like, if law enforcement says we got to have 40, then everybody's got to have 40. If law enforcement says 9 is okay, then I guess 9 is okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so I think around somewhere 80s, 90s, when gun culture kind of it was sort of its lowest point. It was the post hunting era, but it was not the gun culture 2.0 era yet. Somewhere in that transition, we lost respect for 22s and what they're capable of, what they're good for. And I think also we got a lot of cheap 22s. The cost of them came down, and there were always been cheap 22s, but I think that kind of reached different heights with the advent of polymer stuff. So you have like a 22 version of a centerfire gun, and it's made from like zinc alloy or some crappy pot metal,
Right.
and it feels like, it's just a 22, it's a piece of crap.
Right.
So like the quality of the guns was worse, the reliability of the ammo is worse, the ballistics are worse, and so people just decided this is not a real gun. But good ammo does exist, and reliable guns do exist, and a lot of people have been put in the ground by 22s. So it's something you should take seriously. And I think when you're looking at what the average person needs, depending on who that person is and what they're likely to do, a 22 can do a lot of things. So the video series was more about from a practical standpoint, like if I'm going to have a quote unquote practical rifle, it's not going to be a centerfire, because for me, a practical reason to own a rifle is probably for everything other than defense. Like I've got shotguns for that. I've got handguns for that. I've got rifles for that, but they're really not. I'm not going to use those rifles for anything else.
Right.
If I'm going to use, if I'm going to take a deer, I will get a gun that's specifically for deer.
Right.
For me to have like an everyday kind of around my property sort of gun, 22 makes more sense, because the thing I'm going to have to do is shoot a raccoon or a squirrel or something. I've got a little bit of property. I've got not so much space and property that I don't have to worry about neighbors and making noise, but enough space that I can safely shoot. So if I just want to shoot in my backyard, I can do it with a suppressed 22, no problem. So that makes the 22 like the ideal recreational gun and the ideal, shoot things that need to be shotgun. And so that's where that video came from. And then I made a second one because basically the first rifle was too heavy and I wanted a different one. So I did that, and for whatever reason, those were really successful videos. But yeah, I mean, I think I was more just challenging the idea of like,
but you made rationality.
What is the every man's gun? It's like, well, it's different for everybody. Like, what is your needs are not my needs. My needs are not everyone's needs. Like, just
people are lazy.
Yeah,
they don't want to do the research. They don't want to objectively. They heard somebody online said, "Hey, you have to have an FRT with a 60 round or a 75 round drum. Like you got to do this to be cool."
Oh, that's so cool. And then you see YouTube videos out the wazoo about it.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I know we talked about that earlier, but if you objectively figure out what the gun actually can do and what the caliber you actually need, if you figure out what you're going most likely to see, and this isn't, I'm not talking Red Dawn, like yeah, you can do whatever, but I'm talking about it's okay to be like, hey, I don't necessarily need an AR-15 for my everyday use. Now, with that being said, some Americans might need to leave the house with a 45-70 if you're in fucking Wyoming. Right. I don't know, maybe.
Well, and that being said, when there was someone in the neighborhood reporting a rabid raccoon, like I'm not bringing a 22 for that.
Right.
I got a suppressed 300 blackout with subsonics. Like we're going to quietly take care of this problem. Now, unfortunately, animal control came and took care of it before I could get there. Boo, yeah. But like I'm not against bigger guns or anything like that. It's more just like if I'm going to have a gun that's going to the gun I'm most likely to shoot for any reason is a 22. And so I wanted to build a 22 that specifically met those needs. And it didn't look like anyone else's 1022 build necessarily, but it wasn't all that radical either. It was pretty reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that like putting things on their gun because it looks cool and somebody else has it, but they haven't really figured out if they need it or if it makes any real sense, which is to say they don't actually shoot or chest or do anything. And it's way easier just to copy somebody else and make it fit your use case than it is to go, man.
Well, and if that's what
need.
makes you like, there was a time when I was living in an apartment and I had no need for any kind of practical rifle. So
Right.
any discussion of a practical rifle was purely hypothetical. And so
Yeah.
that's when your imagination runs away with you. And you're like, well, when the balloon drops and I've got to just get it, my backpack and my rifle, which rifle's it going
To
to be?
the hills I'm going.
God fucking.
And it gets kind of silly, but if that's what's fun for you, as long as you're safe and you're not getting anybody else's way, then fine, go for it.
I love that way of looking at it. But so really quickly, I think the biggest problem that I have seen when I specifically have talked to people about 22s is a lot of people just have this format in their mind of what they look like. They're cheap, they have 10 rounds usually, and they're not usually terribly reliable or accurate, which is criminal when you think that there are whole matches shot with competition grade 22s that carry way more than 10 rounds. So now I'm not talking American 180, but I am talking about like regular capacity 20 round magazines, 30 round magazines where, yeah, we could talk about reliability, but I mean, I would say, again, this is anecdotal, but Kevin and I went through almost 1,500 rounds of 22 in one day, just working on a gun review.
With only two malfunctions.
One stop. Well, okay, they weren't malfunctions, but they were. I'm a pistol forum boy, okay? So we have stoppages, sir.
Stoppages. Oh, I'm sorry.
Todd Green taught me the way.
School me, please.
I still can't get into. I still say malfunction.
I know. Malfunction, I think you have to be off the line to repair. A stoppage is something you can remedially repair, and then
okay.
breakage.
I want some peanut
is
butter with
actual
my jam,
breakage.
though. Can I have peanut butter with my jam?
Fucking
Yeah,
Tom
say jam.
Givens. I remember that. He's like, "There's no jam." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I
Right.
did a video a while back about I was trying to see like the effects of carrying a 22 around and whether getting a little sweat on your 22 ammo is going to mess it up. And so I did like 500 rounds of control. I did 500 rounds of I did 500 rounds of ammo that I had gotten salt water on it, and then 500 rounds that I had put in a tumbler, like a brass tumbler, for a few hours, because the primers can sometimes like jiggle loose or get
because
messed
it's
up.
like squirted on the inside, right?
Yeah, it's they basically drop it into the middle, and it's like they spin it, so centrifugal force forces it out into the edges of the
right.
rim.
Okay,
That's why it's sometimes not uniform, because a lot can go wrong in that process.
Interesting.
But yeah,
instead of a set primer pocket.
Correct. Yeah, it just they depend on the centrifugal force to evenly distribute it, which works most of the time, but not 100%.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
That's
unless you have an offset primer. Like I have, there's a gun at work where it's all like boutique ammo, and the primer is actually offset, which is fucking crazy.
Well, why would you even? Yeah. Anyway, so I did that test. I was thinking there would be some interesting results, but it was the most boring test ever because I got an M&P 1522, which is Smith & Wesson's AR pattern 22, and burned through all 1,500 rounds in one sitting, no cleaning, no lube, no malfunctions. Like literally nothing happened. All 1,500 rounds fired just fine. Now, that's not to say that you don't have problems with 22s, because I'm doing a 22 project right now with a bunch of 22 handguns, and I've been shooting a lot of 22s, and I would say most of them have had lots of malfunctions. And I think that's, a difference between 22 pistols and rifles. The rifles, I think you're a lot more likely to get a rifle that'll run than a pistol. But every single one of those pistols, if you feed it the ammo that it likes, will work. at least 99% of the time, if not 100. So it's a different, like, rimfire is a different thing. You have to look at it differently. You're not going to have the ability to just take any ammo off the shelf and expect it to work. And that's just how it is. It's just rimfire life. So if you are willing to experiment, and some guns take more experimentation than others, you generally can get something that's reliable. Again, if you stick with the like the big ones, a Ruger Mark IV, for example, like those tend to work pretty good.
Right.
If you get a Beretta 21A Bobcat, like, well, good luck. Those are
I've had better luck with the
really hit or
LCP
miss.
22s over the Bobcats. I've actually had really good luck with my LCP. Another gun you talked me into buying, but
yeah, our LCP2 has tons of light strikes, and I don't know why.
interesting.
Like, Galloway Precision sells an increased power spring, which I have not tried yet.
Okay.
But I must just have bad luck, because I know lots of people who have them, and everyone else's works better than mine.
I have
So,
never. Now, I will say I have found, or I keep seeing glimpses of the threaded barrels they sell
yeah,
for them. Oh my god, that would be amazing. I don't think
it
it'd
would be a
ever
lot of
work,
fun.
but it'd be cool. But I mean, that gun has never been cleaned, which is terrible. So I used to work in an industry. I used to work in a more blue. Fuck. I worked on boats. So I was in shit, and it was really small, and it was really inconvenient. And then I was around customers, so my shirt would get lifted up, so I couldn't carry things traditionally. So I had cargo, like, mechanic pants and LCP 22 too, or LCP 2, whatever, was right in the fucking pocket with it was an Amazon like pocket holster I
Pocket holster,
milled out and
nice,
had it
Oh,
Velcro
wow.
on the outside so it would actually
nice.
stick on the inside of my pocket.
Oh, that's cool.
That came after I was upside down in an engine bay, and I looked up to talk to my partner, and the LCP with the holster came and smacked me on the
Oh,
face, and I had to dig it out of an engine bay. I mean, an inboard power boat. So if you know what those are, it's like I'm skinny, so it's fine, but it was still a fucking pain in the ass trying to dig my gun out of a customer's boat with my boss standing and looking at me, not knowing what I'm doing.
he
It's a
didn't know
little
what you're
intimidating.
doing.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
wow.
No, he didn't see the gun come. He didn't see it fall out.
Why are you digging around that engine bay, Bryce? Oh,
I
you know,
forgot a
just
screwdriver.
yeah, just
Yeah.
gotta get this item.
So I don't want to necessarily hammer this necessarily, or actually maybe hammer is a good word.
Hammer
but
it.
have
Hammer
you
it like a
noticed?
nail.
Have you noticed an inherent reliability difference between 22, not rifles, but 22 pistols, semi-automatics versus revolvers?
I've had about equal luck with both. I think if we're just talking about in terms of making them go bang,
Yeah.
every 22 revolver I've shot has had, let's just say they like to be clean.
Really?
Because you get the 22 ammo is so dirty. I think it just builds up junk under the extractor star. It messes up the distance the firing pin is going to hit the primer. So if the round is not in there just right, then if the rim is set back just a little bit closer to the firing pin's hitting it and pushing it into the chamber a little bit, and it's
Yeah.
not quite
It's
hitting it
soaking off
with
a lot
full
of that
force.
energy.
Yeah.
Right.
It basically is cushioning itself in a way.
Right.
I think that happens, and that's just a guess. There could be something else going on. Someone with a lot better understanding of this stuff could explain it. But the fact that it's so dirty and the rimfire primers, I think, just makes it finicky. The other thing you run into is just like hammers or triggers that are just ridiculously heavy.
Ungodly.
For that exact reason, to help avoid that. So we've got a Smith & Wesson 43C that it's a great gun. I love how light it is. But it's, about 90% reliable. Like every couple of cylinders, you're going to get a light strike. Now with the 22, it's not a big deal, or with a revolver, it's not a big deal. You just pull the trigger again, and it's fine.
Although I would say that the psychological "oh fuck" you get from that might be a
it's
little
not
bit
ideal.
jarring.
Not ideal. Yeah, and it's the reason I've not owned a 351C, the 22 Magnum, because those are apparently even worse about that kind of problem. How has yours worked?
So mine,
Interesting.
I effectively have shot at 300 rounds with dedicated shooting. It's all been CCI, whatever hot shit they have. And I mean, to clean it, I fire 7 rounds into the dirt to knock off the lint. I've not had a light strike. Yeah, it's a great profession.
Yeah, that's a great
that also
cleaning
is my
regimen.
carry gun, so it hasn't stopped working, and I've not been very nice to it.
Well, there you go. I mean, I love the idea of the 351C, but everyone that I've heard of has had some kind of issues. Yours is the first one I know of that's
crazy.
fired more than a handful
Now,
of rounds and not had a problem.
Well, so and that's back to back. I mean, I do quite like that. Now, with that being said, I do scrub the cylinder because I'm like neurotic about because I've had those really fucking crazy trigger presses, and you can see the score on the back of the brass. You're like, oh, that's good. So
Nice.
I will say I don't abuse it to that level, but it is a I was looking for it a minute ago, but I guess it's downstairs. But yeah, so I mean that's by and large the gun that I carry the most, because in my mind, I like that I haven't. It's less of an offensive thing that people want. I mean, which is cool. It's fine if you want to carry a big Glock 34, and they're cool. Another gun I'm showing people that can't see, but I like guns like that.
I can see it, and I like seeing it.
But in my mind, I like the idea of something that's really low recoil. I don't love the fucking 14-pound trigger on it, though. Not loving that.
That's surprising because I thought you liked heavy triggers.
So for people that don't know, I typically run a New York 1 with an Apex trigger in my Glocks. I really like New York 1s. I take the springs out because I like long DA triggers. One of my favorite handguns is a Beretta 92D because double action only is the way, and I love them. But fuck, dude, that is a little excessive. And it's like I have wee hands and like weird fat fingers, so like my fat messes with the gun, and you can like I already have problems with Glocks in the trigger finger distance, and on a J frame it's even worse. So it has to be the laser or the Crimson Trace laser grips because it doesn't push my hand too far back, and but I fucking hate it because I can't get high enough on it. So like the rubber ends up between my webbing. It's
I think you and I probably have similar issues. The my carry revolver is a 32. I can never remember the model number. The 332.
That's a TI one, right?
A what?
Is that the TI or the titanium cylinder? You did a video on it, right?
It's titanium cylinder and scandium frame or whatever. Yeah. So
by the way, those are like $1,500 if you can find them. I keep trying to find them.
I mean, the new Ultimate carry with the titanium cylinder is every bit as good.
Okay.
And has much better sights.
I didn't know they had a titanium cylinder.
Yeah, they came out with one this year with titanium cylinder. So anyway, I've got Crimson Trace grips on it, and the top back corner of the grip is like peeling off because that's where like the web of my hand goes when I have just like a high grip on it.
Yeah.
And it recoils that part of it right into my hand until it like peels off. And it doesn't hurt, but it's eroded the grip enough that now there's like this annoying jagged corner there that's not very comfortable. So
the badge of honor.
But yeah, these kind of things, man, like I think we don't talk about this stuff very well, like the weird little idiosyncrasies that we all have with our hands. And I think it's partly, I want to say it's kind of a male thing because it feels weird to talk about your hand geometry to another man.
Yeah, because
and like I've talked about
it's
this with the
vulnerable.
Houtmans and the Enigma,
Mhm.
and Sarah said that in regards to, I was talking to them about how they have kind of like developed a language around concealed carry that didn't really exist before.
Mhm.
And I talked to Sarah about it, and she was like, I think it's because women are more comfortable talking about their bodies and their body shape and
Yeah.
clothing and that sort of thing. It's just part of the vocabulary that they grow up with, and men don't talk about that stuff. And so we're just like, well, it's either printing or it's not printing. And that's not really helpful. Oh, we'll stick a wedge on it. That's
Right,
okay.
what
That's not always that
okay.
helpful. And I think it's the
Right.
same thing with stuff like grip and hand geometry and trigger
Yeah.
reach, and like
Very
we were talking
personal.
about, like your fat on your finger being a weird thing. And yeah, I mean, I've got, I wear a large size glove, but I have skinny long fingers. So
Mhm.
I can reach the controls on just about any gun, but it's weird because I don't have the meat on my fingers where a more, I guess, typical sized male hand might have it. And so it's a weird thing. Like, yeah, I can, anything is built for the average hand, I can probably handle it, but it's not
Yeah.
going to be ideal. And
Uh-huh.
you'd run into weird things like certain guns, the trigger reach is too short for me. Like, it shouldn't be too short because I have like average size hands, but it's
Mhm.
because my hand is skinny and I don't have the fat in my palm taking up space that would decrease the trigger reach and weird stuff like that. It's like I've kind of mentioned some of this stuff in passing in video, but it gets really weird to talk about in detail and boring. But it's like you kind of, if you want to know like what an ideal gun is, or it's like I can shoot any gun fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're unusable, but like once you get to a certain level of proficiency, you want the gun to work with you and you don't want it to fight you. It's just like somebody who's really good at driving doesn't want to drive a car with a crappy automatic transmission that's shifting when they don't want it to shift. And
Right.
it's like they could drive it as an everyday driver. They're just not going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
really
remember
well said.
coming up, it was tactical response and a lot of the hyper tact. You do this, you gotta have a Glock 19 and blah blah blah. But a lot of it was or dressing around the gun. I mean, I know Clint Smith
Oh yeah.
really hammered that on when I was younger. So it was like it had to be a 5-inch 1911. All right, well, I grew up a little bit, and then it was like, okay, well, I don't want a Glock 19 because I abhor those. But I bought a Glock 34. Like it was a Glock, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter that it doesn't fit. You need to fit the gun. And that is an ass backwards way of thinking, especially when you're trying to get just people that want to protect themselves, just protect themselves from people enforcing their will upon them without their fucking
Consent.
consent. I mean, they just want something they can pick up, press a trigger, and feel confident in.
Immediately change behavior.
Immediate
There you go.
change of behavior.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That's we're stealing that, by the way. Credit to you, obviously, but the
It's
one
not
thing
mine.
I'm
Don't give me
stealing.
credit.
I will give credit where
I
credit
stole
is
it
due.
from Chris Locke, who is a product manager at Federal, and I'm pretty sure he stole it from some instructor somewhere. So
I like that. So I think what's interesting nowadays is that we have people like Ben Steger who are making it more fucking goddamn it, Kevin.
What?
Are making it when we have a video podcast, this will make way more sense. You guys won't think I'm fucking crazy. But
A little
Ben
crazy.
Steger has a thing where he talks about fitting the gun to you and that really mattering. Now, I have a theory. Most guns that weren't Glocks were probably not worth buying for a long time, which is to say, the Glock was cheaper than double single action metal guns for a little bit, and they weren't as sexy, but they were pretty plug and play. You pick up the Glock, it's probably going to work.
Well, the Glock is
most of the time.
The Glock is your grandma's Toyota Camry that will get you to and from anywhere and never break down.
And so people are like, well, if you can't do this, then you can't have these other guns. You got to be able to shoot this well before you do it. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's not your dad's awesome, Ford Shelby Mustang.
Right. And it's the same. I mean, this is
the same mentality of like, you got to be able to shoot irons before you.
I was just going to say irons before dots. Exactly. And some fucking annoying guy says that shit still.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's also the same guy who, as of Sunday, I was arguing that you should put a red dot on your shotgun, and he
No!
misunderstood the pattern. And I was like, so from here to there. No, you don't need.
I'm not.
What
I'm
are
not
you
putting
talking
a
to me
red dot
about?
on my shotgun. It's not going
That
on the shotgun.
that was not the argument. The argument was you were
It's
like,
the
I don't
pattern.
need
I
it
did
because from there it won't matter. I'm like,
I'll admit I
whoa.
was ignorant of the
Yeah.
patterns. Bryce did school me and learn me of the patterns.
Well, no, what I told you was to pattern your shotgun, which I know you haven't done.
I have.
No, he hasn't. He fucking has not. Oh my God.
Keep it up.
All right. What? He's aiming guns at me now.
Going to a weird place.
I know it's gone dark, but
oh no.
I think that's probably a good place. Kevin's drawing guns on me. I think it's a good place to end.
That's not possible.
It's all good. All good times here. Nope, nobody's pointing guns at people, but yeah. Was that all I had to say? That's I mean, there's lots more to say.
There's lots more to say.
There is.
I mean, in terms
we have part 2 and 3
yeah,
and 4
I
and
mean,
5.
we'd love to have you back on, maybe explore this a little bit more, and then maybe we could talk about some video game stuff next time.
Ooh.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, you got me.
So the next one, Kevin's definitely going to talk more because we're going to talk about video game stuff and some of the figures that Chris is sitting in front of, which is very compelling.
Yeah.
So
I am available whenever.
Ooh. Oh, well then I will.
Wow, open availability.
You guys let me talk about dumb stuff that nobody else wants to hear about. So
we want to hear about
this is what we do all the time. It's just dumb stuff like this all the time.
Awesome. Yep. The dumb never stops.
All right, now we're done with that part of the thing. Now we have to do the pluggy thing. Kevin, what? We should have done this shit up top. So we're just now trying to be responsible podcasters, and we're gonna do an intro. I promise. We'll redo an intro. So friends of the channel, Hammy 3D Prints, the Carry Handle Gang, 10% off.
Eastern Shore Sling Company,
the Carry Handle.
The Carry Handle, yes. No, not podcast. It's the Carry Handle.
Yep.
Or Carry Handle. Carry Handle.
There you go. Carry Handle. We know things.
10% off.
10% off. Friend of the chat. We don't get any. It's just we like them. Eastern Shores, Maryland. Whoop whoop. So Maryland boys, stay strong. Haga Defense. Support them. Great accessories. No, he's just a cool guy. A cool dorky guy that makes stuff for guns. I'm trying to get him to make accessories for the G36. If you guys please help me, he might do it. I know he can.
Also, but, Suppress
Chris,
Fest.
can you plug your stuff and your Instagram where you post some really cool art?
Yeah, if you can find me on Instagram, good luck. I post stuff that has nothing to do with my day job, which is mostly nerdy artwork.
Sometimes he trips you up with a battle rifle picture.
Yeah, every now and then there's some overlap. I can't help it. Otherwise, find me on YouTube, Lucky Gunner, but YouTube is constantly fighting against all things good. So they're taking our videos down as fast as we're putting new ones up. So Lucky Gunner Lounge, our blog still lives. I post every video there. It's hosted somewhere else that we pay for, so they can't take it down. And we also have the full transcript of every video, along with images if you would rather read than watch. So that's at luckygunner.com/lounge. And of course, buy ammo from us with lightning fast shipping at luckygunner.com.
There's also a nice hidden review that isn't on YouTube, and it's the SIG 22 upper conversion you guys have, which I think is
yeah. I wish they still made that. Funny enough, we still have the conversion kit, but we don't have a 938.
So I like the priorities.
It's kind of rotting in the company armory right now.
Jeez.
SIG made a 22 version of the 938 as well as a conversion kit for it, and it was a really cool gun. But SIG made a ton of 22 conversion kits for a while there, and they just kind of quit doing all of them.
They should have made a or like a compact version of that, kind of like the GSG or the Browning one. Oh, did
they
they?
They made the 4-inch one was kind of like the standard one, but then they eventually made one that was the same barrel length as the actual 938, and they made one with a threaded barrel as well. And I've seen them pop up on Gunbroker occasionally, and they're usually going for a fortune now. But for a while there, they were, I think it was like right at the tail end before they discontinued them. They made them for a little while.
SIG used to be great.
Yeah. Now they just make guns that shoot people.
I just want a 500 series. Oh, all right. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. And we are absolutely going to have you. And in fact, I will, we're going to get you on the schedule. So
awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll do it again.
All right. Awesome. Well, Kevin, is there anything else I have to say?
You roll.
We did the outro thing.
Roll the outro.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to roll the outro. All right. Ready? Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Very cool. You should like and subscribe.
On Facebook and Instagram.
And Twitter and Spotify. You should listen there too. If you
aren't they listening to this on Spotify right now?
Well, they could be, but there's also YouTube podcasts, so all of the places.
We always forget where we post this stuff.
We don't know where this is. Thank you for listening wherever you're listening to, but you should also like the other places that we are. And
Who are we, and what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know how we got here. So thank you for letting us talk directly into your ear holes.
Right to the brain.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Adios.